You're in a meeting, you're bored, you start drawing doodles on your notepad. Maybe when you were a kid in school, doodling actually got you through some of those long classes.
I know it did for me. And it may not be that bad. According to a 2009 University of Plymouth study, doodling may actually help you pay attention. Researchers suggest it takes less brain power to doodle than it does to daydream. And one Ocean View man says doodling as a child led to an exciting career later in life. Now, it's not John Donato's first career, though, but it's one he says helps him inspire entire communities, one fish at a time. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, the works of John Donato are conversations that never end. And the first word of that conversation is a fish.
I'm trying to build better communities, one fish at a time.
More on the fish in a moment. But first, John says his career in art started with doodles.
And as early as I can remember, I was a good doodler.
But John didn't think doodling would get him very far, so he pursued graphic design at the University of Maryland.
And I went for graphic design, art with a purpose, I used to call it.
And ended up in marketing.
Because I was like, well, graphic design's even harder to try to make a living at than. So I went into marketing and was doing the suit and tie every day up in the DC Beltway area. Enjoyed it and learned a lot from doing marketing. Got into public relations, did a lot in public relations.
Donato took a marketing job for Carl M. Freeman Companies in Sussex County, moved to Delmarva, and eventually revisited art as a hobby.
My mom saved my doodles. She was really good about saving my doodles. So I picked up one of these doodles. It's a doodle of a pig. I painted it. And she took it. I gave it to my mom, and all the artists were like, who's this painter? He's got some talent.
So when the economy started to take a tumble in 2008, John decided to turn his hobby into a living.
It was a big decision. I had to talk to my wife, had to talk to everybody, and really had to dig in. Could I actually make it as an artist? With the reality that this economy is probably the worst to actually start an art career. But I was sort of like, well, but the marketing side of me and the PR, I was like, I have a real niche. I have a real, this might work. So I did a business plan. I had to do everything that a business person would do to say, could I actually make it as an artist?
And he did.
So the first year, I probably did like maybe 30 shows. And I started traveling to New Jersey, back to Jersey, and it's mostly coastal stuff. And I had a good year. I had a really good year.
Then Donato was approached by a New Jersey principal who asked him to help students paint a mural about literacy. That's when John realized he needed to do more than help kids paint a wall. He needed to start a conversation.
Instead of me just coming in and doing a painting and them painting a little spot, why don't we really center it on what it is these kids are trying to learn? So I came up with this pretty creative way of actually engaging in students, getting them to read more before I showed up, which was the goal. Let's get them to read more, let's get them interested in reading. And then they actually would come in, and that program went so well that word got around in the teaching community. Word gets around fast.
John was hired to help create murals in several other schools.
So I started doing all these school murals year after year, and the frequency was getting higher. The name was getting out there. Then I got into bully prevention. Like, okay, what are some real tough standards that the schools, what are some big challenges for the schools? Bully prevention was one of them. It was a big subject. I knew kids. I was seeing them in school, kids that were affected by it. I was seeing a lot of at-risk children that needed help, that needed some sort of communication or self-awareness or a form of self-expression.
Eventually, the Rehoboth Art League approached him about a mural project for foster children who were aging out of the system.
So I said, well, what's important for foster children? That's what I really had to start thinking. What are their challenges? And I was like, well, how am I qualified to answer that? So what I really did is I needed to work with them. So I started attending their meetings, the Youth Advisory Council meetings. It's usually run by foster children to help foster children, to really help promote them and to get the world to understand them, their specific challenges, and how to help them.
That's where the fish came in.
So the first day was all about just painting a fish. You're going to paint a fish, and I don't give a lot of rules. So it's really hard for them. But I keep telling them, trust me, I'm here. You're going to get through this. I guarantee you, you're going to have a fantastic mural. Your fish is going to be good. By the next day when they come in the morning, I go into their fish and show them how I just, with a few little techniques that I use, turn their fish into this fish that they wanted it to be. But they did 99% of the work. And then they get the process. They're like, okay, so when you say throw paint on there, you really mean it. The second day, now they're excited. Now they have confidence in me. Now they're getting a little more experimental. By the end of the week, they're really hardcore painters. They're really not afraid. Their fear is gone, and they're working together.
And John's formula that gently pushes the children out of their comfort zone seems to be working.
My mission is to bring art back into the educational programming, that it is an important right brain component. The two halves of our brain, there's the analytics left, and then there's the creative right. And you can't just use one in business. You can't just use one in sustaining a community or a school system or a community like that. You actually have to engage in both. And I think art and artists and creativity is a very, very necessary component in all of that. And my mission is to really prove that.
And John's formula is not limited to children. He also has programs for adults, specifically in the corporate world. And as we just learned, John uses fish to teach people how to paint. So I did a little put it to the test of my own.
Really?
Oh yeah. Up next on Delmarva Life, John hands me the brush and tells me to paint a fish. And here's the amazing part. I do. Find out his secret to turning a blank canvas into a masterpiece every single time.
Okay, so before the break, we met Ocean View artist John Donato. He told us his story of how he uses art to help all kinds of people, especially children.
He uses what he calls collaborative art. That means everyone comes together to create a piece. Well, one thing that struck me was that in a very short amount of time, he could teach someone how to paint. So I had to ask him, what's the secret?
So you're starting with a big canvas. You know what a football looks like, right? Mm-hmm. This is going to be our body for our fish. Okay. And all you're concerned with is painting shapes. Yeah, don't worry about being real precise. Put that football and you're thinking of speed. That's good right there. Okay. Now you want to do an ocean. Okay. What color is your ocean going to be?
Blue.
Blue? All right, try starting with, like, say, this blue. Grab another brush and do this whole thing as fast as you can in blue. This is a contact sport for me. And you move it around as fast as you can. You get more paint if you want. Grab as much paint as you want. I'm gonna do something that's called racing around the painting.
Okay.
I want you to go around the edge like this, just the very edge of the painting, and then drag some in.
Okay.
Give it a shadow. While you have a blue on the brush, fish, if he's swimming in the water, the sun would be hitting him from the top. So the top of the fish would be lighter than the bottom of the fish. What would happen if you put a little bit of that blue, a little darker down here? So go ahead and take a lighter color, anything lighter than your pink, and give me a little line like I did down there. Give me something bright at the top. I'm going to show you something called stenciling. It's a really great craft to master. We're going to do little jellyfish in the background.
Okay.
And they don't have to be perfect. So we're going to let those dry.
Okay.
Now we're going to go back to our fish again. Maybe our fishy might have some stripes or spots or something like that.
Okay.
Real quickly, give me like a few of those.
Oh, okay.
And they don't have to be perfectly placed. There you go, all the way down to the tail. So we're going to do some little belly spots. And what I do with spots is I'll twirl like this. So try twirling here. You're holding it like this and just twirling. So now do that very lightly, like a couple of them in here. I like noisy backgrounds. Give yourself some little fun noise in the background. The more noise, the better, because your fish is going to be so bold. So why don't we start with a tail? Now you can do them curly. You can do them this way. You can go like this. You can do a solid paddle. I don't care what you do. There you go, the curly tail. I love it. You're like, ooh, wait, I have orange in my hand. Maybe add a little bit to the spots or the stripes, or or play in the background. Anywhere you experiment. Now you're going to do a dorsal fin, like some sort of fin up top. Just come up here and do like a bunch of bristles, like a broom. Then we have pectoral fins. It's probably going to start somewhere right about here. So I just put a little dot there, right? And then I just do a fin right from there out. And we're going to use white again. We're going to do the eyes. And same way you did your spots, give me like a round googly eye. While you're thinking real hard about, oh, what's right, when you misplace something, at least what you think is misplaced, it gives it a much more unique look. Now the mouth. Okay. Mouth is an important thing. Now, do you want this to be a girl or boy fish?
This is a girl.
It's a girl fish. The difference between a male fish and a female fish are simply the lips and the eyes. What we want to do is we want to do a female fish. So the difference is going to be eyelashes and a different set of lips. Now, if this was your fish that you see there, the easiest way to do female lips, now you can do them any size you want, but is to basically draw a heart like that. So go ahead and give yourself whatever heart you like.
And then fill it
That's,
in.
yeah, fill it in. And then sometimes red and blue will give you like a deep dark. So just in here, on the bottom of your fin where it's going to meet your, try giving it some red across there like that.
Okay.
And just try like dusting the top there or anywhere in that pink area with that orange brush. That's how I get some of these really crazy colors. You know, for now, I think we're in a good spot.
Okay.
So this is normally in the class, what I'll do is, okay, now I get to touch your painting.
Yeah.
Which is also teaching you to let other people touch your painting.
Okay.
I'm going to show you how to do tentacles on a jellyfish.
Okay.
And what you're going to do is you're basically going to take lines and go, ooh, and then while you're doing that, I'm actually going to start on your fish. So we're actually going to be painting at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not even going to watch what you're doing. You just go ahead and have fun. And then I'm going to be edging over here. And then what you're going to do, you can lightly just go around your jellyfish real light. And you don't even have to finish the lines. Just give them a cap. Do you see how your fin pops out?
Yeah.
Now the green isn't blending with the blue. You can really see it's defined. It's really starting to look like a fish now. And now we have two styles going on here. I have my lines because I've been, and you're doing your little wiggly jellyfish, and you want that contrast. Your little wiggly jellyfish, put the jellyfish back there so they're not competing with the fish. They're part of the fish. And most importantly are these lips.
Oh, yeah.
And I just dance around here, and then I just continue to give her a smile like that, right? And then the eyes, I'm just going to go ahead and put in. Now with eyelashes, the easiest way to do them, using the letter C. And then to give her 3 eyelashes there, and then letter C, letter C, letter C. And you have a, now how girl out did that fish get with just the eyes and the lips, right?
Yeah. And here it is.
Look at that.
I am so proud of this. I had this on my desk. I've had it on my desk for a couple weeks
Yeah.
now. And everybody who walks by is like, oh, what an awesome painting. And I'm like, yeah, I painted it. And they're surprised.
It's absolutely terrific. And what amazes me is how he brings out what you already have in you.
Exactly. And he allows you to let go a
Yeah.
little bit, just go with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a very interesting talent. And if you would like to read more about John Donato or to contact him about a project, go to our website, wboc.com, and click on our picture at the top of the page. We'll